stop. Yeah. Okay. Stop. The question is, who can do that? Who should do it? But many of the people who come here are wanting to hear that and wanting to do that for themselves. Sounds impossible for most people because they are, after all, machines. Their emotions are part of the machinery, their actions are part of another aspect of the machinery. Their memories are part of another level of machinery that's kind of like coming from the past, mostly about the future, and present stuff going on. The chaos, cosmic. And then you have the mental stuff. It says stop. So because we're originally space, so space is like the real force within us, if you know that. Emptiness. It's the real force within us. And it cuts through all of it, but not everybody's able to hear that well enough to do what is being spoken about right now. Which is to stop it. Stop the program. Stop the eating program. Stop the talking program. Stop the sexing program. Stop the suffering program. Stop the fighting program, the warring programs, the defense programs, the ego programs. But some can. In a split second. So it can be done. Depends on where your practice is at. Where is your practice? It's not easy to stop the cravings. That's ego. You have to tell the ego to stop. You have to know you can do that because it's programming. Self-programming. Thought programming. Mind programming. All machinery that can stop. And when somebody comes after you with a big sword for your neck, you stop. all your stuff stops like beautifully in a split second. You grab your hat and you're gone within a split second. And you didn't have that in your mind before, and yet as soon as you see that blade, you're gone. Programming. When the basis, the beingness, is already more or less in the clear and functional. We're not talking about being without energy, without motivation, without creativity, or without, elsewhere to be and other things to do. All that's emerging. But this is source. Who is at the source level? Who can be there? That's what the question is for. People who are suffering. Can you be at source? What's the question? So what you're talking about is not real. It's imaginary programming, and you're making it real. So you need to know your craving for this, that, whatever is BS. It can be useful because it satisfies something in you. Don't want to take anything away from anyone. You're free to do what your instincts and tendencies and programs and drives and urges, mechanisms ego says you must do for itself, really, for itself. But there is beyond that too. There is peace. There's a whole other dimension of reality that has to do with healing the body, not generating neuroses, being crazy, right? Irrelevant, excessive, craving, right? Because of lack of discipline. See? There is mastery. See? Not easy to come by. There is mastery. There is grounding. There is peace. And there is enlightenment somewhere too. Mm-hmm.
Is letting go a part of mastering something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to hold on. But you also have to know what you need as part of mastery. Knowing what you need to hold on to, what you need to let go of. See? You need to know what is categorically garbage, mentally, emotionally, psychically, causally, and physically. You need to know what that is. Not that you need to care about it, but you need to know what it is so you know what you're doing to yourself when you're doing certain things, eating certain things. You need to know. If you have a certain degree of intelligence, then it's going to be done. That intelligence would be related to what we would also call sanity. It's sane to do this. It means it's good to do it. It's healing to do it. It's right to do it. Because the body wants to feel good. I don't mean, on cake and ice cream. No. Not necessarily. It's not bad. I mean, we've all indulged it to the max. Right? But we're talking about higher intelligence and getting the most out of foods, let's say. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Caring about functioning, caring about productivity and creativity. Right? Mm-hmm. This is part of it, not all of it, but certainly part of it. Talking about mastery. That means putting things to rest and completing your mission out here. Mm-hmm. Not according to other people's expectations particularly, or hopes, wishes, or desires, but recognizing what your purpose is out here and doing all that you can to accomplish that. Out here means in this life. Mm-hmm.
And finishing, another word for letting go, maybe another word for stopping.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to stop being your worst enemy. That's a good advice. Yeah. You have to be clear that it's possible. You could be standing in your way more than anyone else. So you need to know what that is, be self-conscious enough, creatively intelligent enough to say, yeah, I don't need to do that anymore. I've been doing that. And the results, indicate to do something better, to do something else. Say. So then it's science, going by results. Music is a result. Dharma is a result. Intelligence is a result, as well as a cause. Mm-hmm. There may be some, concerns about, if you let go too much of your ego, whatever that is, depending on what the individual understands that to be, you're not going to be worth anything. Okay? Well, that's what you're making the ego. It's not what it is. It has more to do with image processing. And not necessarily being true to what you are. more or less true to what you want to be or want to appear to be to others. So then it's having to do with masking. So that's perhaps psychologically valid. But that's what it is. It's masking. Managing appearances. Sira. Who you're acting like. So on. All of this is good. But all the things that you do can be done better if you have no ego in the way. But that's like a riddle. That's like a mystery of the universe for egos. For no one else but egos. Egos don't dig that. Right? They're so wanting to secure their ground and hold on to their control and domination. It's completely unnecessary. See? I don't think there's much genius in that. There's something deeper that's going on that really knows what needs to happen. And a lot of egos are what stands in the way of coming into resonance with what that could be. Going back on the time track is not against progress. Just like going ahead on the time track, in a manner of speaking, in terms of visionary work, is not an indication of great progress either. See? Because the whole thing has to be, I guess you might say, responsible for. You have to be responsible for all of it. Now, if you have to go back a little bit and clear up certain things so that you can move forward, step back, maybe too forward, maybe not bad. Cleaning it up. The idea is to clean up. See, what needs to be cleaned up. Clear it up. Just clear it up. Question.
Yeah, so it seems like actually more of an ego trip to regret having to go back and deal with something, because it would be preferable to not.
It could be a big ego trip, see, or it could be scientific, exploration and purification by way of observation and elimination. See. Maybe working towards some kind of higher understanding of what the whole life has been about. It's possible. It depends on you, your mind, how it processes, the whole field of matter, energy, space, and time as the material condition that, let's say, you've chosen to bring your mind to sort certain things out. If you are going to do that in a progressive manner, say. So it's not what, but in a progressive manner, say. So, okay, I did that, now I'm going forward, enough of that, now you clear the way for what else you need to do, and you let go of baggage, and you can clear the way. Let go of peeps who are considered baggage, and you can move forward. There are more peeps, infinite peeps. Yeah, it's not never a loss of peepness. Always new peeps. Infinite peeps. The idea is to find peeps that are part of what it is that, say, helps you to move in the direction you're needing to move in. So if you're a musician, which you are, then you associate with musicians, which, I might be useful in that way. And certainly resonant to issues and problems related to musicianship, no question about it. But then there may be other issues that you have outside of this little framework. And then you have those issues which have to do with blood and early life conditioning, karma, self-identity, masking, who you thought you were, who you were supposed to be, and so on. All of these things are part of the machinery that keep you stuck in the goo of concern, say, if you're doing the right thing or not. That's just a viewpoint. For some, it's better not to have that viewpoint at all. It could be quicksand.
It seems like all of the things we're talking about, there's similarities that they all point away from stuckness.
Yeah, no stuckness. Yeah, not that stuckness, I guess we might say pause for the cause is negative. No, you need to be aware of when you're stopping or pausing and whether or not you need to be there beyond the point in your life. So then we're talking about being responsible for your time on earth. And what you imagine or allow to bog you down relative to others. And whether or not that needs to be cleaned up or completely swept aside so that you have motion. You recover your momentum.
Yeah.
People, I don't mean to be impolite, but I don't have time for this. So you're going to have to leave now. Thank you. I have work to do. Thank you. So it's not a matter then of the question being selfish or selfless. You need to know what you have to do. You have to be in tune with your urge, to create and to complete, to act properly. All of this, is important to observe in your own case, and not feel you have to be this servant beyond the point. This kind of a dumping ground, in a sense. No one is having to do that, really, unless you've allowed that to be the case or the real for you. That's your choice. The issue here is who is in a position now to make changes that give you a better shot at completing what your life mission is all about, if you can see that clearly. So this is more about the individual self-empowerment, not ego, but getting the work done, the work that is at hand for you to do, that you know beyond a doubt you'd better do. And that's to women, mothers, men, fathers, children, relative to what they know they need to finish up before it's too late. This is for everyone. Get it done. Doing what you have been doing as a norm or a habit is not necessarily knowing what you really need to do beyond that. It's like, who knows what anybody's supposed to really be doing if they don't know that. So in other words, you have to allow yourself for the awareness that you're doing what you're doing. You might be doing what you're doing because you really need to do this. And it's not a conversation that some people can bring to you to stop you from doing this. They can try, of course, but you seem to be here because you need to participate and know about the music that's going on here for your own purposes. And since this is what you consider and recognize or accept to be the source, then you might not be done here yet. So when you're done, you're done. So you need to do this because it means that much to you, so you say. You need to ask these questions because you can't find, it seems, a psychologist so let's say, penetrating and so, let's say, open-minded at the same time to cover the things that you're really wanting to be, let's say, a part of. So, yeah. They can know a part of you, but this is like knowing a lot about you in terms of your background and your interest in terms of the Dharma and music and intelligence and creativity and playing and peeps, relations and all the rest of that. So there's a lot here for you, and you're taking it in, which is what people are supposed to be doing. Take it in and apply it. Prove it to yourself. The idea is to master these conditions of your life. Get them so that they are working for you. Whether it's business, right, or music. So these are all doable things. Mm-hmm. Easy to put in a nice sort of like wrap. To have it wrapped up right now. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean anything is going on beyond the point. It just means you're functioning at a level where you say, no, these things are being handled right now by my standards. Handled well enough. Relations, something different now. So that's where you need to bring a bit more intelligence, let's say, too. And you're learning that here. So you're not being run over by peeps, let's say, as you may have been at one point, and regretting it in a sense. Now where do you stand with that kind of, say, karma?
With other people karma. Yeah, I don't feel it nearly as subject to people's, conscious or unconscious desires or problems or whims or, whatever.
You may have better things to do. So
I certainly hope so.
This is not against people. This is not against people as much as for the individual accomplishing their mission, their purpose. See? It's called self-empowerment in certain, let's say, cultures, but just about knowing what you have to do and doing it. Native, let's say, directness. And this is good for me to do. This is good for me to know. This is good for me to hear. Wherever, whatever it might be, know that it's good for you.
Yeah, the biggest thing is this is good for me to let go. I mean, that seems like one of the major dialogues here is that whether it's conscious or unconscious, the outflow is continuous, or the burn is continuous, and it's not as much me taking stuff on week to week. It's that what I take on allows me to let what I need to go. Yeah.
In other words, there needs to be an appreciation for transformational reality. Where you have your old friends, and that might be, good for what it was and good for what it is in a manner of speaking. But then you need refreshment. See? And unless the refreshment is affecting you in a more spiritual or psychic or creative sense, then what are friends for? See? You can still love them, but let them go their way, so to speak, because you need more. The individual may need more, and that's being honest for the individual's sake, being true to the individual than just being, buddy good shoes or good whatever, say, good socks, right? Buddy good socks, yes, right? Yeah, and so we're talking about recovering your power. Let's say, I don't mean ego power, but spiritual power. Recovering your ability to serve at a higher level, if there is such a thing. Yeah. And that's why we do and need to do certain things to educate ourselves beyond what we've learned before. Knowing more deeply, knowing more, let's say broadly, more openly, more intense knowledge about our self, let's say, processes and what we need to create, say, as time goes by, more so than what we've been able to, let's say, not create in the past. Say. And so you need to bring in, let's say, peeps, friends, associates who can serve to reinforce, let's say, what is real to you as you go along your path. And support that. Such supporters are called friends, who see not so much the way you see, but see that you need to see the way you see, and that's good for you. And vice versa, right? See, the focus in the Dharma, let's say, I'm using that as an abstraction for the way, the practice. Yeah. Is to clear the way. Yeah. Are you clearing the way? And clearing all that is meant to you as the way. In other words, are you making your life simpler and more productive for your purpose? See? Not at the ego level, but certainly at the spiritual level, since that's part of the conversation here, generally speaking. And we can get so tied up in relations and expectations and obligations to others that we lose our own direction. We can't see clear anymore. You're seeing things through their eyes, through the family's eyes, through friends' eyes, and all the rest of that. You can't live for your friends in that sense. Some people need to live for their friends. That might be their dharma or their karma. But here, self-realization process is about having friends as an ongoing transformational process. Mm-hmm. And giving everybody respect and kindness and compassion. See? But not being owned by anybody or allowing yourself to be sucked into somebody's neuroses, and being able to see that clearly for what it is very important to you as a self-protecting individual. See? Not ego, but protecting your space. So there's healing. You're not feeling that somebody's imposing a whole bunch of negative energy on you. See? Mm-hmm. Which does happen. And it's up to us to tolerate it or transform it in the process. Confront it, that's it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's not just on what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that is not really spoken about even in terms of the beings that you keep. And their motivations and their desires and their, let's say, projections or programming. So, as that might work for you or might not work for you. So we need to be so clear, that's why I say, when you are less, let's say, sucked up by other people and more centered, in a manner of speaking, I don't mean egocentric, but just at peace, right? So you can start to feel your way forward and pick up things that you need to pick up so as to know what to do with those things as let's say, intelligence from your body or your emotions or your mind even, your heart, sort of sensing. Heart sensing. Mm-hmm. What's safe for you to do that's going to be healing for you, enable you to feel more complete and at peace with yourself as an individual, as a spirit soul being, as a practitioner, and as a business person. Oh, and don't forget, it's a jazz musician too. yeah, right. All of that together. Say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the mysterious part of the process is that maybe the most important, the most profound, the most quiet aspect is something that it's seemingly impossible to describe or to even convince somebody that doesn't know it that it might exist.
No.
I mean, it's not.
You mean exists for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's all you can speak from is what exists for you, whether it's in your head, in your heart, or somewhere in your body, or somewhere else. It's what exists for you. That's what we work with. Our perception of what it is, our reality, and what we make of that. Same. That's why it's important to understand consciousness, so we know what in the consciousness area we are making something, more conducive to our productivity or less. Let's say, seemingly creative, but maybe not actually creative. Yeah. We have to have this kind of intimate relationship with ourselves to know what is truly creative for our purposes. And what we are creating, because something creative could be very negative. You could be creating negativity, right? By allowing things to fester and not be cleared up and build up. And so the garbage bags are so already wanting to burst. You want to get them out. You want to clear them out before you have a mess in your room, or in your kitchen, in your space, or in your store, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Coming. So practice and awakening is a beautiful thing. See? Let it be. Phew.